Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Gush Erupt to Deconstruct. I am Stevie, and I'm here with Kiki Monroe.
Hi, everyone.
So let's talk a little bit about my guest today. Kiki, go ahead and introduce yourself. Let them know what you're all about and who you are.
Hi, everyone. Again, my name is Kiki Monroe. Most of you know me from the drag community, but I am also working at a trampoline park well known as Defy. I'm a manager there, a leader, and a mentor. I also am a new mother, so that's another exciting thing that I'm excited to share with you all. And I'm actually working on a few designs, so I think there might be a little bit of a little pop-up shop here and there, maybe in the future, but so far that's about it.
That's amazing. Okay, when the pop-up shop does materialize, I want you to send that on over so I can, of course, blast it on my socials so we can get a big spotlight on it.
Oh my God.
Or a little
you.
spotlight. I don't know what spotlight I have. Maybe it's little, maybe it's big, but, it's not all about size, so they say. I don't know if I agree, but so they say.
I agree.
Okay, so I have invited Kiki on for this special podcast this week because I wanted to talk about what happens when you kind of upgrade your tolerance to acceptance. I am clearly the G in LGBT, and if you didn't know, you need to work on your gaydar, okay, because you got problems. Even being in the community, acceptance varies, right, and tolerance varies. Not
Absolutely.
not every member of our community is treated with the same respect as others. There's so many factors. I know for me, I feel like there can oftentimes be like a racial element to things, and I'm like, okay, well, you didn't have to say all that or do all that. Like, we're the same. I actually don't feel like I get any more acceptance really from the LGBT community than I do from the, from the straights, as I call them. But go ahead. Can you share a little bit about your experience?
I feel like it's a little mixed as well. And I'm just saying that based on family experiences, dating experiences as a whole, I feel like it's been a good mixture of tolerance and acceptance.
Yes, and so I define the difference as tolerance. I always think about it's like a live and let live perspective, right? You respect their way of life, but you don't ask a lot of questions. You're not really genuinely interested, and there's some sort of barrier that lies there. What do you think about that?
I completely agree. I think that I've more so dealt with like the tolerance part of things with family, more so like strangers or people in my, day-to-day work life versus the acceptance part.
Okay, and we're going to talk about today how do we get to a place of acceptance, right? How do we move from tolerance to that acceptance aspect? And I have my own personal experience with this. But first I want to tell you a little story. So I remember being on vacation with a friend of mine. Love her. We're going on vacation again soon. And we were talking about, I'm just going to say a sibling of hers, and how they were trans. And I said, I don't necessarily understand that just because I don't have that desire, right, to change my gender. But she really didn't even let me finish explaining how I felt. She was just like, I will die on this hill and I need you to stop talking about it. And I was just like, okay, because to me, it's like, it's not a big deal. I have friends who I disagree with, and I am so happy to agree to disagree. But I was surprised that there was no discourse. I mean, what do you think about that, Kiki?
For me, I'm gonna ask you to rephrase the question just so that we can break it down a little bit.
Of course.
Can you repeat that question?
Yes. So I was just surprised with my friend that, we were having this private conversation and there was basically like no discourse about it. Like she kind of just like cut me off, and I was okay with that because I'm always happy to agree to disagree. But what do you think about that approach? Like if somebody, is inquiring and just kind of expressing themselves, but you don't agree, to just kind of agree to disagree.
Gotcha. I definitely think the agree to disagree approach can work for many. However, myself, I definitely seek to understand things. So I feel like I like to dive deeper. I like to understand the workings of, someone else's thinking and points of view. So I never like to leave things there for me personally. I don't like to leave things at a place of agreeing to disagree. I could do that if there is some sort of promise to revisit that topic.
Okay, me too. I'm kind of like that too. I really want to delve deep and understand why somebody feels the way that they do. And yeah, I think without discourse, you're not really learning anything about anyone, and that can be sometimes disappointing. So that was maybe 2 years before I encountered this podcast. It's part of the Modern Love podcast by the New York Times, and there's an episode with Denny Agassi, and she's talking about creating intimacy as a trans female and dating and the struggles and all of those things. And it was funny because the first time I listened to it, I didn't even know that she was a trans female at all. Did you when you were listening?
I did not.
Right. Okay. So then when she's getting into all of these emotions that, let's just start light, because even the first sentence of the podcast, the host says, Denny was capable of doing something that I absolutely was unable to do, which is having fun dating. And I was like, me too. Like, that's not fun. That's not fun. I always feel
it can be, though.
It can be. Okay, well, I feel like dating for the most part for me has been like sifting through a garbage dump, and I'm like, ooh, is this piece salvageable? Is this piece salvageable? Is this salvageable?
I feel that.
And I'm just like, oh God. But so I was very impressed with the way that Denny was, going about her dating life, and I very much was relating to the fact that she was saying that most of her experience was on the grinder. Okay, that's what I call it sometimes. Sometimes I call it the grinder just because I want to feel as if like I'm not really on there, even though I am. I mean, what do you think? Is Grindr even successful
about
for
the Grindr?
Yes, the Grindr
dating. I mean, in my time of being single, when I was single, I've dabbled into the Grindr, but I feel like it's definitely not a place of promising adventures, meaning like relationships that would exceed a 3-month period or longer. I feel like especially navigating the Grindr as a trans person, it definitely comes with its like how can I put this? I feel like it comes with like a very unique experience for trans women or just trans people, because I feel like there are also trans guys on there, so I can't speak for their experiences, but I do feel like trans women on those type of dating apps are more so looked at as like sexual beings, sexual fetishes and things like that. So it's not really a place that I would go to if I'm looking for like something more monogamy.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I can see that. I also think it can be hard to like meet guys in real life, because like these men don't have halos on top of their heads. I remember reading that online and I was like, wouldn't that be nice, huh?
Oh yes, that would be lovely.
I know, if we just had like secret halos on top of our heads. But then you know what, the demonic ones would have them too, and it would defeat the experience.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, I didn't think about that. I didn't think about that before like I fell in love with the idea. I did not think about that. So Denny, throughout the podcast, she talks about, how she struggles to create intimacy with, one-on-one, like looking at a romantic partner. And I almost died at that point because I was like, me too, girl. Me too. So
agreed.
Yeah. So I was actually on a walk at this time. And then I think I was like 18 minutes into the podcast before I learned that Denny was a trans woman. And then when I did learn that, I felt like this shift, right? Because I had always, obviously I had seen you, while you were doing your performances, and I absolutely loved them. And I don't feel like you sensed any sort of like, didn't feel like I was there yet to where I had connected emotionally with a trans person. So I still had like that weird barrier up. Does that make sense?
It does. I feel like, yeah, I'm just going to leave it there. It does.
Okay. So then when, I realized that like I had all these commonalities with Denny through this podcast, I said, oh, wow, we really are all the same. Like we all want the same things and we all have the same struggles, just because I don't have this one particular struggle in common with, a group of people that has nothing. It really almost has nothing to do with who they are. Almost nothing. Or what do you think?
I completely agree. Like you said, love has nothing to do with, your gender, truly. Like, we all desire the same things when it comes to dating. You know, we all want similar, not necessarily the exact same thing, but we want similar experiences and ideally the same outcome, which is finding love and finding a partner that, you know, sees us for what's within.
Right, right. So, can we talk about an instance where you felt like maybe there was like a burgeoning relationship with someone, but there was, that barrier? Maybe you felt like they didn't 100% accept you, and then you were able to push past through that? Is there a specific experience that you can recount?
Let me think. Let me think. I don't think I've experienced that, honestly.
Okay, I mean, I
Yeah,
can definitely recall some as a gay man for sure.
yeah.
I mean, I have like these close male friendships now, but
Oh,
I did not have those, and I did not imagine developing
mhm,
those until like maybe a few years ago, maybe like 6, 7 years ago, because I always
mhm.
felt like male friendships were built on like teasing or something. But I think that had a lot to do with my experience growing up. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
Because growing,
So can I?
go ahead, go ahead.
Oh no, I was just gonna ask a quick question. So like, because we're talking about growing up. So growing up, if you came out early, like, were you navigating like your childhood as a young gay child, or did that come later in life for you?
I think while growing up, did I navigate it as a child? I mean, there wasn't much navigating to do because I mean, I
Hmm.
knew, I already
Oh.
knew. It was like I would be watching television and be like hiding an erection. You know what I mean? Like it was so
Gotcha.
awkward.
Yes.
Um, and you know what is another experience that so many people have like in common? It's like when you go and you buy
Mhm.
underwear and then there's like the models, the naked models.
Yes.
Yes, on the underwear packs. That was definitely me too. I think that was all of us.
Okay. Yeah, all of us for sure.
Yeah, so I grew up just privately knowing and then thinking to myself, I
Hmm.
was like, I mean, it's really not that big a deal. I really did not think it was that big a deal. I came out at 20. I did not come out early, I guess. Or is that early? What do you think?
Um, I mean, for some, I guess that's considered early. Personally, I came out a lot sooner, but I had to come out twice, so that's a different story. But um, initially coming out was in my teen years. I was 14 coming out as gay first. So I guess I did navigate, like, going through finding myself, well, like accepting myself and navigating, like, how to move around family and, create friendships and stuff like that. So,
Okay. Yeah, I was pretty obviously, I think, gay. So growing up,
hmm.
it was like I don't know, an unrevealed secret, I suppose.
Hmm.
Yeah. I mean, it would come up like all the time, but I also was in no rush. I don't like to rush. I don't rush anything. I don't rush
Hmm.
recipes. I don't rush, revealing anything. I think if you rush something, it always comes out botched. And the last thing I want to be is botched.
That. You know what? I actually agree with that. I don't want to say that like my experience of coming out and stuff was rushed. However, I was a little bit rebellious and I felt like it was more of me coming to terms like with myself and being comfortable with myself. So I definitely put it out there for those reasons, but yeah, I can get that for sure. Like,
Okay,
not
so
rushing anything. Hmm.
like feeling comfortable, is it like an exposure kind of thing? Because I'm thinking back now to what we were discussing before, and it's like the tolerance versus acceptance. Like, do you reach a point of acceptance when in regards to something new that maybe makes you uncomfortable by being exposed like repeatedly? Because
Give
like
that question to me
maybe
one more
maybe there's
time.
some people who like obviously homophobia exists. These people are out here, or
Oh,
even like another form of prejudice like racism exists, and it's like maybe it's because they don't know anyone from that group. They just have like this weird like media.
I got you.
You know what I
Exactly. Yeah.
mean?
I feel like when you're looking through like a very small lens, it does give you like an idea of a group of people, and you could be completely wrong. So yeah, I can see that happening.
Right. It's like you might need to get to know somebody interpersonally, and
Mm-hmm.
then those kinds of, I want to say, rushes to judgment, or that habit of
Mm-hmm.
rushing to judgment, then ends up kind of fading away. Hopefully.
Yeah, it does.
Okay. So, do you feel like you're most comfortable around other members of the LGBT community, or does it not matter to you?
As a trans woman, it does matter. I feel like I am more comfortable within my community of like queer people because of like trans women's safety and stuff like that. I feel like early on in my transition, I wasn't. I felt more comfortable like going to the heterosexual bars or straight bars, so to speak. But I guess the older that I got, I tend to like, go into the places that I'm more welcome and safe in just because I can fully like be myself and let my hair down without having to worry about like innocence being clocked or things like that.
So I do remember hearing some, horrific stories of like trans violence. So let's just have like an awareness moment, because some people think that this is like limited to certain countries or places like that. I remember, Bad Bunny was a big advocate against trans violence, and I can't remember what country it was, but do you remember when he wore the shirt and he was like, it was not a woman in a skirt, it was Alexa?
I don't remember that
You don't
moment. I
remember
need to
that
go
moment? That
catch
was such a
up.
moment. But the other day I was reading about a woman in New York who, she was like, I guess she had broken up with his man and he was just not taking no for an answer. This is why you need to be very careful about who you let into your life, people. And he
Yes,
threw
please.
her onto the train tracks and she actually lost her legs.
Oh my god.
Yes. So
Oh
it
my
was
god.
it was a
I'm gonna have to go
particularly,
get caught up on that a little bit.
yeah, it was a particularly gruesome um, example. So, just being in the trans community, where do you think that comes from? I mean, why do these instances of violence happen, and why are they? Do you think that it's more common to happen to trans women, or do you think that it's about like commensurate between cis women and trans women?
Um, yeah, I would definitely say it's both, but just from being trans and speaking from a trans standpoint, I see it happening a lot more to trans women. And mostly because usually the trans women that are dealing with like the guys that are DL or, they're considering themselves heterosexual. It's a well kept secret. Like it's something that they don't want to be out and exposed. So they're going to like extreme measures to like keep those secrets.
Oh, yeah. I always forget about that. I do
Hmm.
oftentimes forget about that. I mean, what do you think? Are those men heterosexual, like the men who have sex with trans women?
Well, this is my personal opinion. I don't think so. I mean, I know that even being a trans woman, like I know that, you know what I mean? Like I'm a trans woman. I completely accept that and I'm okay with that. So I think that if it was a cis guy that I was dealing with, I would not consider him heterosexual.
Okay, yeah, yeah. I mean, I oftentimes encounter like bi-curious individuals and they're like, but I'm
Mm.
straight. And I'm like, okay, this is absolutely red flag, alarm, have to run, because eventually they're going to show up to your door and be like, you made me gay, and try to kill you.
Hmm.
That's what I always think. I'm so sorry. I always think that. That's probably, I don't know if that's a horrible viewpoint or if it's like a great viewpoint. Or maybe it's just super
No,
effective.
it's a really good way to look at it. I mean, I don't know if it would happen that way, but yeah,
I feel like it's possible. I don't want to be the next train
it's
track victim. I
right.
like
So
my
you always got to be
legs.
safe. And yeah, I definitely don't, for me personally, as a trans woman, I don't recommend anyone getting involved with a guy that isn't completely comfortable with his sexuality and all that because it comes with a whirlwind of trouble.
Absolutely, absolutely. What do you think about, when people keep secrets and they're not upfront about who they are? Is that a big part of not being tolerant or not accepting others? Like maybe, they say sometimes that somebody might be homophobic because they're gay, right? So what do you think about that?
It could be that honestly because I'm trying to think about an experience. I feel like I've encountered not like a lifelong friend, but I think I've had friends in the past that came out later in life, but like they would be honestly like my high school bullies, truly. Like they would like terrorize me in school, but later in life came out as, you know, homosexual themselves. So it's like I think that it is a level of like they're not accepting themselves. So it's like they're tolerating the people around them that are comfortable with themselves and their sexuality.
Right. No, I can't recall anybody specific, but also I was not bullied very much in high school. I think it's because I had a vicious mouth. I still do have a vicious mouth, but I'm in retirement in terms of like really going in on people. Or at least I'm trying to. It's the only early retirement I'm ever going to get, let's be honest.
I mean, don't get me wrong now. Very tough cookie. I can completely agree with you. Like this mouth is very vicious. So, I mean, they tried it. Don't get me wrong, but
they always do.
It was quickly corrected. But it's just funny to me that those were usually the people that later in life came out, you know, as gay, as trans, or whatever the case may be. And it's like, you just couldn't take me.
I know, a bad case of can't take. It happens. It happens. Okay, so let's talk about maybe somebody in particular in your life who you feel like is at that tolerance point, but they haven't quite accepted, you know, your identity as a trans individual. Is there someone in your life like that?
Very near and dear to me, actually. Don't kill me, Mom.
Okay.
But it is actually my mother. It's something that it's still a ongoing battle, just with her coming to terms with the fact that I am a woman now. And I feel like it's certain things when it comes to me being a woman now, she's not completely comfortable with. Also being a new mother, that is, you know, a lot more to even take on, because me being trans, I'm not identifying, because my child is biologically my child. I'm still identifying as mom. My significant other is identifying as dad. And for family, it's kind of like hard to navigate that too. So it's like, you know, you have the trans topic and then it's like, oh my God, now you're throwing, you know, kids into it. And it's like, just, you know, kind of, I guess, catch up.
Yeah, you're waiting. You're like, can you get with the program, please?
Yeah.
Well, does she come from a more traditional background, or what do you think?
Yeah, she's definitely comes from more traditional backgrounds. It's just my mom was a single mom. I lost my dad when I was 8. Actually, my dad passed away from a heart attack. So, my mom was very a strong woman. So at the time, raising 2 boys and my oldest sister, she had to be very stern and she had to be very strong and strong-willed. So I feel like she's set in her ways, and me transitioning is like a really hard pill for her to swallow and accept. Because in her eyes, like, she loves me dearly. We have a really good relationship, and it's just certain things like using my dead name or like the pronouns and things like that. I just feel like it hasn't been much effort. I feel like she's going with what she knows and what's comfortable for her versus what's comfortable for me.
Oh, I see. Okay. Or do you think a lot of it is out of habit? Like, she's probably not doing it from a bad place, or what do you think?
I definitely don't think it's from a bad place at all. Because I do believe that, you know, a person will show you how they feel about you within their actions. So the love is there, has always been there. It's a very thin line between tolerance and acceptance with my mom and I's relationship. But I still think that we're still in the area of tolerance versus acceptance, because acceptance is fully accepting how I identify, who I am now, all the hurdles that I jumped over to get to where I am now. And I feel like for her, it's not that she dismisses it intentionally. I just feel like, again, it's comfortable for her. It's what she knows.
Okay. Well, maybe there is something to this mom thing, because I think if there's somebody in my life who maybe is not 100% on the acceptance train, it would be my mom too. But maybe I'm wrong, because now I'm kind of reflecting on it, right? And I feel like she never asked me about my dating life. She never asked me, like, oh, have you met anyone? Or are you talking to anyone? But I don't know if she ever did that, like, with my sisters either. Yeah.
That's something to think about.
It is. I mean, there's a little bit more to the story, and I just want to ask you another question before I get into that, but I promise I will. But I feel like we grew up like very similar. Like, so you were a part of three, right? Three siblings.
Yes, I'm the baby of three, actually.
Ooh, I'm the baby too, and I would give.
Really?
Yes, and being the baby is everything, and I will never turn it down. I would hate to be the oldest. Yuck. Bleh. And then middle, nope, no, nope, 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 no, no, nope, no, nope. I don't want that
Yeah.
either. Return to sender.
I gotta agree.
Yes. Okay. Being the baby, I feel like the parents are exhausted. Like they can only do so much at this point. And they've seen a lot at this rate. Like they've seen two kids, so they're kind of willing to accept a little bit more. You know, you get a lot of leeway. I feel like you get a lot of leeway as the baby.
Oh yeah, you do for sure. It comes with its perks.
For sure, for sure. So yeah, I mean, the one time I did try to talk to her about my dating life, and I was just like, I was dating someone, didn't go well, so if I'm a little bit down, just leave me alone. And I think that's normal. Is that normal commentary from me?
Yeah, I would say so too. I feel like there weren't a lot of questioning when it comes to like dating for me either. Like there wasn't, not that she wasn't interested, but
Well, on the next
she.
comment, my mom ate me up. Okay, she was. You know what she said?
What did she say?
She was like, you know what? Gay relationships don't last anyway, so let it go. And I was like, oh, I got eaten up. And usually I'm the one doing the eating up.
Yeah.
So
I'm clutching my pearls right now.
Ooh, me too. Look at me on the camera. Like, I was like, damn. I felt like a video game character that got hit with the fatality.
Yeah.
Yeah. So maybe it is safe to say that she's not quite there yet. What do you think?
Maybe not, but don't lose hope that she will get there, though.
Okay. All right. I mean, I will keep hope alive. Well, just like you, I can tell through the actions that she does love me. So
Absolutely.
it's okay. It's all right. We got to give people catch-up time.
I definitely think, and not to get off topic, but I think that at least for me, with my mom, I've always given her grace in those areas because, like you said, I know my mom loves me and she shows it through her actions. So it's almost like how much do I push her? You know what I mean? I would love for her to definitely get like on the same page because now having a kid and everything, like we don't want to create any type of confusion. But I've allowed her to like kind of take her own time with that.
Yeah, I think that's for the best. I mean, I don't want to be like Tina Fey in Mean Girls, and she's like, I'm a pusher. I push people. That was scary.
Yeah.
And then I got turned on her, and Katie said that she was a drug pusher. So
Oh yeah, that was a horrible moment.
it never ends well. Like if you push people past their limit, it just doesn't end well. Okay, so I like to end the podcast with a lightning round, unless you have something else that you would like to mention before we wrap up or attempt to wrap up.
No, I think I'm okay there.
Okay, so let's do a lightning round. So I'm just gonna hit you with some either or questions, and then you let me know what your choice is and why.
Okay.
Okay, resort vacation, or you're in the thick of it, like Airbnb-ing in a third world country. What are you picking?
Definitely the resort vacation.
Really? Oh my God, I don't like resorts. You want to know why I don't like... Okay, have I been to a resort? Ooh, let me think about it. Yes. And I just feel like I'm secluded. I'm not part of the culture, and I don't feel like that's what I need. Maybe it's because I'm from Florida. How long have you lived in Florida?
My entire life.
Okay, basically same, like 23 years. And I'm like, I've seen the beach, I've seen the sand, I've seen the nice weather. And, that's usually what a resort is. It's like, you know what I mean? It's pools, it's this, it's that. And I'm always like, no, I really want to see like the real parts. Maybe I'm crazy.
No, I won't say you're crazy. I feel like I agree with that too because I have a desire to experience, that. But if I had to choose like for leisure time, definitely the resort. Like I like the fresh air. If, we're in a resort that has like the balcony opening and everything, like I like to just open the door and the windows and just like allow that energy and air to just flow through the room. Like,
Okay, I could see that too. Well, let's hope that, if I ever make it rich, I'm definitely going to keep onto my coins because I don't really have expensive taste like that. Or maybe I'm just like speaking it into existence.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just speak that into existence so I can save some money.
For the both of us.
Okay. Oh, and I love for guests to, like hit me back with another question. So can you provide an either or lightning round question for me?
Either or. Let's
Yes.
see. Oh, give me a second. I'm not great with questions on the spot, Stephen. Oh,
Okay, well, I need you to become Barbara Walters in this moment. Haven't you seen the memes?
I haven't. I'm so.
What? You don't know
Yeah,
what the little interview segment with Barbara Walters when she's interviewing Mariah Carey and please tell me you know this meme.
I don't.
Oh
I guess I've
my
been living under a
God.
rock.
I'm going to send it to you right after we get off of this call. But she literally looks at Mariah and she's like quoting a Nicki Minaj lyric, right? And she's like, I'm quick to check a bitch if she is out of line. Are you that bitch? And she's like 80 years old and it's just amazing. It's really just amazing. I'm sending it to you afterwards. But
Yes.
okay, did you
Okay,
think
so
of
I got an
one?
easy one. Okay. It's gonna be in regards to fashion and sneakers.
Okay.
Are you a sneaker kind of guy or are you a loaf kind of guy? Like, do you like the?
Look at
How
my
would you
face
prefer
on
to
the
step out?
camera. Look at my face on the
Um,
camera. I'm definitely a sneaker kind of guy if it's between sneakers and loafers. But to be honest with you, you know what I'm really feeling right now? I'm feeling like the sandal, but not like a flip-flop sandal. It has a back on it and a latch. And then on the top, like near the toes, it's got like a band for comfort.
Okay, I can see that.
I don't know what those are called, but I'm obsessed with them. But I need to let the feet be free. I like sneakers if I'm working out, if I'm playing sports. I like to play tennis and pickleball. But yes, no, I need the feet to be free. I need them to be free.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Okay. A good question for you. Oh, okay. Since you're a performer, do you prefer to perform to crowds that you know, or do you prefer that nobody knows you?
I felt like this was coming, and I love both. But if I had to choose one, I would prefer to perform for a crowd that doesn't know me.
Oh, okay, me too. I'm not like a performer, but I have done stand-up comedy before.
Really?
Yes, and I like it to be a crowd that does not know me. Although, it's a mix. It's a mix because a lot of times I've been doing like stand-up and it's just other comedians, which I hate to do that because imagine you're just performing for other drag queens. Wouldn't you get tired?
I would be so tired.
You would.
I would be, and I would think they're judging me.
Okay, same, but then think about it like this. Like imagine all the drag queens are going to perform at some point in the night and they're your audience. So they're not even listening to you. They're busy doing their own steps in their mind.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, and honestly, I need to do better with my stand-up comedy. I've been very devoted to the podcast and trying to get another job. So, not that I'm unemployed because I don't believe in that. Don't try it.
Keep the coins coming in.
Yes, keep the check coming in. Keep a check flowing. But yes, no, I really need to buckle down and do that a little bit more. Oh, and in the name of that, what's a goal that you have that you feel like you've been slacking on that you would like to have a little bit more accountability on?
Definitely designing. I feel like I have so many ideas and things that are constantly going through my mind, but I procrastinate a lot. So
Is
I
the
need to get better at that.
procrastination, is the source of the procrastination fear? Because sometimes I feel like that's why I procrastinate. I'm like, oh, I don't know. I mean, just last night, like I was releasing the second episode of this podcast and I was thinking like, I was trying to procrastinate so bad. And then I just decided I have to do this and I have to get online and record a little bit because I just want to go to bed at this point. I just want to go to bed.
Very much felt. It is that. I do feel like it's a lot of fear. I think with at least what I do, it's you're putting it out there to like in a sense be judged and have those critiques on it. And I'm almost like Beyonce. I'm very sensitive, like when it comes to my art. I'm not a sensitive individual, like when it comes to just other aspects of life, but when it comes to like my art, I'm so like sensitive about it because it's like something that I put a lot of, time and emotion into, and it's like I want you guys to like it. So if it's something that I'm like not sure about or how to achieve like the look, then it's like, okay, let's just put that to the back burner for a little bit. And then I'm on to the next thing. And it's the same thing with that next project. So,
Oh, amazing. Okay, so do you just design or do you also like build the pieces? Like, are we talking seamstress level?
I wouldn't, so I don't use the word seamstress for myself, at least because I'm self taught. It's a lot of like tutorials and things that I've studied, and I just have learned to allow myself to just like figure out like how to get it done. So yes, I do my own designs as far as sketching them out and putting in like the manual labor of putting them on the machine and bringing them to life as well.
Okay, Tina Knowles, we see you. Okay, so if you had to
Yes.
describe your fashions using a Destiny's Child member, are we looking at some Beyonce styles, Kelly, or are we looking at Michelle?
Oh, listen, yeah, all three and more.
Ooh, and
Yeah, and
more.
more.
Well, I hope the
So
and
I've
more is not like Latavia or something.
no, 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 no. I feel like who can I say that I've been looking at for inspiration lately? I don't know if you know who Dawn Richard is. She's from
Of
Danity
course.
Kane originally.
What's wrong with you? Of course I know who Don Richard is.
I
Do I know
love,
who
love,
Don
love
Richard
her.
is?
Yes. I love her aesthetic. Like on stage, I feel like her garments always give like high fashion, or they're always like inspired by some type of culture, and like I don't know. I just would love to sit down and pick her brain one day, honestly.
Okay. Ooh, who have I been liking fashion wise? Ooh. You know who I always love their looks in videos? Tinashe. You know Tinashe?
Oh yes, Tinashe eats down. She does.
Yes, absolutely. Okay, see, this is why we got to sit and pick our brains, pick each other's brains, because you see, we got the love for the independent girls, the girls out here doing it for themselves.
Oh yeah.
Yes. Okay. All right. One last lightning round question, and then I promise I will let you go. Okay, so if you had to pick somewhere to retire, where are you ending up on the map?
Where am I gonna retire? Oh, my friend is gonna kill me. So I used to always say that I wanted to like settle in like somewhere like Nebraska.
Not
And people
Nebraska.
are
What's up
yeah,
there?
everyone always says that. I really just want to go somewhere where I know that I can purchase a lot of land, and just, not necessarily even buy the land and build my home on it, but if I can just have the land and live off the land until I'm able to afford the home that I want on it, that is the perfect idea of living for me. And I also don't like to be like on top of one another. Like, so city living just doesn't do it for me. I wouldn't want to go to like a place where it's oversaturated.
Okay. I mean, I really aspire to live somewhere where it's walkable. So if I had like my dream decision, and by dream decision, I mean if I had the coins, I would probably pick Venice, Florida. Venice, Florida. So this is an advertisement out there for, is there a sexy man in Venice, Florida who has money, who, is interested in starting something? I need you to hit me up. Need you to hit me up, please. But have you been to Venice? Have you been to the beach and stuff?
I haven't. I really don't get out that often.
You need to go.
I'll have
And
to
you need
check
to
it
stop
out.
by Venice Avenue Creamery, which is the most delicious ice cream I have ever had in my life. Okay.
Yeah, definitely plug that into the GPS.
Yes. Well, you know what's beautiful about it is that it's such a small town that is basically walkable. Like you can go from the beach, through the park, to the ice cream, all in like a 35-minute beautiful shaded park, shaded walk with beautiful trees, beautiful homes that you get to see. And the people are so friendly because, honestly, they don't have stress. They don't have that much stress in their life. Like they already have their money, they're retired, and you don't get that that suffocation feeling that you get, just driving around like where we live. You feel it. Don't you feel it? The frustration.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Always.
Yes, because we're always trying to shake and bake it and make it. But these people are already made, okay? They're already shook. They're already baked. And I just love to be in that environment. I know some people would probably find it boring, but I do love that.
Oh, no. That sounds very peaceful.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay, so where can we find you? And did you want to plug any performances, like places that you regularly perform at that we can catch you?
Yes. So I'm actually performing at Cruisers in Cape Coral every fourth Saturday of the month. You also can catch me popping up at Rascals once every other month for our trans night. I'll be actually hosting that show. It starts in June. We will be actually kicking that off June 15th. And the show time will be 11:30 p.m.
That's amazing. And where are you in socials? What's your
Social media, you can actually catch me on Instagram. It's I am Miss Monroe, and it's spelled IamMissMonroe. Or you can also find me on Facebook under Kiki Monroe, and it's spelled KEKEMONROE.
Well, thank you so much for talking to all of us today, Kiki. I think this is one of my most relaxing, peaceful, and just informative podcasts that I've done yet. And I was 100% comfortable. And I can't wait for everybody to feel that.
Thank you so much for having me on with you. I really appreciate the opportunity, and it was fun.
Yes, it really was fun. All right. Bye.
Bye.
That was so cute.